Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my space. I hope you are having an absolutely gorgeous, absolutely wonderful Friday. It's a beautiful Friday here. The weather is gorgeous. You know, um, like we can't ask for more than this time of year. It's so funny because when it's winter and we're in the middle of the snow, it's like, oh my God, we can't wait for summer. And I just want the sun and everything. And then once we get the sun, it's like, oh, it's so hot. You know, we never want what we have, right? But it's okay. Sorry, I'm just sharing this with my page so that I can make sure that everybody can see it. That's what we want. All right. So here we are, everyone. And welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are here with me, please let me know. I see some people already. So please say hi. Let me know who you are and where you're joining us from on this beautiful Friday. Tomorrow is a full moon. You know what? I don't even know. I don't even know what sign the moon is in because I don't really follow that too much. I believe is it going to be, is it Capricorn? Might be. Might be a full moon in Capricorn. Um, but regardless of what the sign is, we want to be mindful that it's a full moon. That's really what I'm concerned about. The stages of the moon, the cycles of the moon, and in making sure that we are really connecting because the moon is very important to us. We may not realize it. Sometimes we don't even acknowledge the moon or like remember that it's a thing, but the moon doesn't forget us, and our bodies absolutely 1,000% know that the moon is present and exactly what stage it's in. The moon controls all the tides on the planet, and we are and the water. Sorry, not just the tides, but the water, right? It controls the water. So, and we are mostly water. So, because of that, we are very connected to the moon, whether we understand it or not. And, I think it's so interesting because there's always been these things about like on the full moon, everyone goes crazy and that. Well, you know, not excusing bad behavior from people, but there is some legitimate science and reasons to back why during a full moon we can feel crazy because our emotions are up and our emotions are high and our emotions are overwhelming, and it can sometimes make us feel a bit crazy. So, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm shuffling my cards, I'm getting them ready because we're going to pull some cards too, right? That's what we're here for. It's moon messages and card pulls. That's what we do. So if you're here and you want a card, you need to let me know. You need to say, hello, Michele, card please, or me, or whatever. Give me a card, girl, whatever it is. I'll answer to just about anything today. Of course, not everything, but just about anything. Hi, Pat. How are you? Welcome. And I'm going to pull one card for all of us to share at the beginning, because I think it just feels like I like what I want to do today. So it's perfect. And I'm using two decks. I'm using a brand new deck, which is called Sacred Cycles, which I thought, what could be more perfect than using this deck for the moon talk, right? And for our card pulls for today. So we're using that one. And then we're also using the gorgeous, gorgeous ethereal visions, which I love. Hi, Catherine. Welcome. So, guys, what I want to say with this moon is this is very interesting. So, I kept getting like messages. I get info about the coming moons quite often, days and days, sometimes even like a week, maybe even or more before they're actually coming. Oh, one of my cards has a little, it's not great. Anyway, it's got a little bend on the end, making it hard to shuffle. But I get messages about the moons and what they're about and what they're, going to help us with and all of that stuff. Sometimes a week or more before the actual cycle begins. And this one, it actually started in a dream. I get messages all sorts of ways. I hear things, I see things, I dream about things, Spirit communicates with me in any way that I need at the time. God is so faithful in that, and just making sure that I get my messages. So if I'm not open to seeing it, I might hear it. If I'm not open to hearing, I might see it. I might dream about it, all the things. So anyway, I had a dream, and the message for this moon is surrender. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And now that I just see that it's in the sign of Capricorn, if I'm not mistaken, I think Capricorn is an earth sign. Anyway, I think Capricorn is an earth sign. So that would explain a lot, because when we are too grounded in our way of being, our way of feeling, our way of thinking, it's hard to surrender, right? So I knew that the moon message was about surrender. And, hi, Sammy. Absolutely. Sammy says TGIF. Woohoo! And you know what? I love it, because I was just having a little dancing party in here before I got on. I just felt like dancing this morning. So I was having a little dance party and, getting embodied and grounded and getting my groove on and having fun. Anyway, Sammy says Capricorn is an earth sign. Ooh, your moon and your rising. Wow. I love that. Okay. So since it is an earth sign, we can tend to get really, really deeply rooted, right, in our beliefs or our opinions or our ideas and our definitions and all these things. And so I got that message, that the message for this moon, the word, if you will, is surrender. And so when I get those things, I just start sitting with it and like, oh, isn't that interesting? Like, what could that mean? What could that mean for my life? What could that mean, for the collective, what's going on? Oh, guys, one thing before I forget, because I am notorious at forgetting. If you have not liked my business page on Facebook, would you please go there and kindly like and follow my business page? It's the video that I shared on my personal page is from my business page. So I would love that. And then share this, because, guys, who doesn't need a card pull, right? Who doesn't love a good card pull? So let's have fun today. And get those numbers, get people on here so that we can really have some fun. Not that I'm not going to have the best time with all of you, but the more the merrier sometimes. And on this Friday, which is ruled by Venus, right? I love Venus. Venus is all about beauty and harmony and money and fun stuff, like pleasurable things. And I love that. So it's Friday. So let's really relax into that today. Like, what will bring us pleasure? And I'm not talking about like, gratification just for gratification's sake, but what's going to feel so good and what will fill our soul, like, to where our cups are overflowing, right? That's what we want today. We want that every day, but we really want that today on this Friday because it's such a beautiful day. Okay, so back to the surrendering. So I'm sitting with it, and then I realize, oh my goodness, like the surrendering that I have been practicing for the last 4 years has kind of gone a little bit out the window the last week or so. I'd say the last week and a half. So let me back up and just let you guys in. And I've told this story several times, so you might have heard it already, might be new. I hope I'm not boring you, but in like June of 2020, I was praying for peace. That was my constant prayer. How can I find peace in my heart? I needed peace in my heart, in my immediate physical surroundings, in my extended physical surroundings. I was just not feeling peace. All of the stuff with COVID and the lockdown, my home went from housing 3 people to housing 5 people. And it was just, there was a lot. And then we were ramping up this political cycle in 2020. And I was having a really hard time with it, honestly, because I wanted peace and I was having a hard time finding it. And so one day, it might have been right around this time, actually, 4 years ago, I was shown during my prayer and meditation time that the way to peace was in the middle. And I was being shown that I was on this position, I was way over here. And on this other position, I was way over here. And on this other position, I was way back there. And I was anywhere but in the middle. And I was shown that the path to true peace is in the middle, because at the end of the day, guys, this is the truth. And although it's hard for us to understand, although it's frustrating and actually kind of makes me angry sometimes, because it's just like, what? I'm supposed to watch this shit and not be and not have a reaction. It's just almost impossible at times. But I was shown that the path to true inner peace is a total inside job, and it actually has nothing to do with everything that's outside of me. Everything that's going on outside of me, everything that's going on outside of you, all of that has nothing to do with our personal peace unless we let it. And this is the trick. This is where the neutrality comes in. So, guys, let me know your thoughts about this. I'd love to hear what you think about it. I really want to have a conversation about this. I don't want this to be just me blathering on, forever. But they showed me get to the middle, get neutral. They also showed me that we have these clearly defined definitions in the world of black and white, and that we are set up. It is part of our human condition to want to have a hero and a villain, a very clear hero and a very clear villain. It makes us feel safe. It makes us feel in control. Oh, well, if I know who the good guy is, that will help. Oh, and even better, if I know who the bad guy is, I can avoid it, right? Does this make sense to everyone? I mean, how do you feel about this? And they showed me that that is faulty thinking. It's a pattern and a belief that we've bought into that is not necessarily correct. That both sides, so I'm just taking two sides right now because, we've got two, there's usually two sides, the hero and the villain. And we usually fall on one side or the other. This is the hero and this is the villain. And the other side says, no, this is the villain and this is the hero, right? But what they showed me is that both are a combination of all of it. Both are a combination of hero and villain. Both are a combination of light and dark. And that there isn't one that's all good and one that's all bad. They're both a combination of both. And so I announced to my family, it was like in the beginning of August, I announced to my family as the election cycle was in full swing, I will not be engaging with any of the narrative, any of the rhetoric anymore about either political candidate. I'm not going to villainize one and heroize the other. I'm not doing it. And let me tell you guys, I found peace. Like in the midst of a horrible election cycle, I found peace. And so I've been practicing that. And I've been practicing like staying out of the position of all good, all bad, and just being neutral about it. Like, isn't that interesting? Or, and of course I have feelings about things, guys. I'm human. I'm not a robot. It is the way that it is. But when I'm noticing it or when I'm aware of it and I can bring myself back to the space of neutrality, that's where I find peace, right? So it's interesting. I had this dream and I'm thinking, surrender. Gosh, I wonder what that means. And then going about, like, I have no idea. And then I realized, wow, I have gotten so far off my neutral path the last several weeks because of all of this garbage in the news. Not garbage in that it's not meaningful, not garbage in that there aren't important things to know and to note and to be involved in, but it's just so yucky the way people interact with each other about it and the things that are said and the things that are done and the things that are accused. And that's what I was getting bogged down in. I stepped off my neutral path and got into the fray of all that ugly. And that's not what I want to do. So I had to surrender again. And I've been surrendering over and over again since I realized this, to not be pulled back into it, to not be, um, to not be in the mix of it, and to not have those old patterns and beliefs, and that sense of control really, and protection and safety, rear its head and pull me back in, because that's not what I want. So, and there's a lot of ways that you can do this. Like I have some friends, and they're wonderful. And during this time, like, they 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 have a time limit on the amount of time they can spend on news and on the socials, looking at all this stuff. And then when they're done, they're done. So that means that at night they're like doing crafts and they're doing all these things. And I love it because it's so much fun, right? And guess what? They're going to feel more peaceful. They already do feel more peaceful, but it's going to grow. So this is my um, challenge for all of you. Like, where can you move from here or here and come to the middle and just go, wow, isn't that interesting? And just even entertain the thought of, maybe what I think isn't 100% right. Maybe what I think I know isn't 100% right. Maybe my opinion isn't exactly in alignment for me, or isn't going to bring me peace. Just whatever, just ask yourself. Just open the conversation with yourself, because it is so eye-opening and life-changing. It changed my life. And I've shared this also. Let me say one thing. So during this full moon, that's what I want us to think about. That's what I really want us to notice, is like, where can we surrender to those definite black and whites that we are so entrenched in? Where can we surrender to that, and to the peace within, and to the neutrality? That's what I want us to release during this full moon, and really allow that moon that is in Capricorn. Thank you, Sammy, for validating that. This full moon in Capricorn that is so earth based, right? That is so rooted in our sense of safety and security and needing to feel protected, right? That is the basis of earth. It is going to find that some way, somehow, even if it isn't in our highest good, right? So, how can we surrender to that and find the sense of safety and security within us? Because at the end of the day, that's where it is, guys. That is where it is. That's the only place it is. So, I want to share about my mom and dad. I grew up in a house divided, but peaceful with it. Like, my mom was a staunch Democrat from her whole life. My dad was a staunch Republican because well, because he was, and he like met, I think it was Truman or Hoover. I don't know, whichever one was in the 30s. I'm horrible with that. I'm sorry, guys. But whichever one, he met him, and he just, it had a huge impression on him. And that was that. So I grew up in this house with a staunch Democrat and a staunch Republican. When I went for my first vote, the joke was that I was going to cancel out one of their votes, right? They were not going to cancel each other out anymore. I was there to like bring one along. I didn't tell them who I voted for, by the way. I kept that to myself because that's personal information and nobody's business. But they never argued about politics. They never argued about who was right and who was wrong. They never did that. They respected each other as humans and allowed them to have their own opinions. And I really wish we could get back to that. There was a day in this country, believe it or not, where we were allowed to have differing opinions. And if I was for one candidate and you were for the other, I didn't automatically assume that that made you stupid or a bad person or a non-patriot or whatever, right? It just, we're different people who have different views. So that's what I got to say about that. Surrender, surrender. Oh, and I want us to let's just take a moment, put our hands on our heart, nice deep breath in, and let's just feel like whatever has you up and feisty right now, and like, has you fired up, your opinion about that. Let's just ask, like, what would it feel like if I loosened my grip on this and breathe into it? What would it feel like if I just let go of that and moved into a space of neutrality where I wasn't so tied to everything? How does that feel? Wow. I've been practicing this for a week and a half and it still feels so good. I still have more surrendering to do. Go figure, I'm human, right? And this doesn't mean that you don't have causes that you want to work towards, that you don't have causes that tug at your heart. It isn't that at all. It just means that we're holding it loosely, right? We're holding it loosely because that's where we're in that space of neutrality where our personal peace lies. And guys, our personal peace is everything. Like, you can't put a price on that, right? Right? Okay. Oh, I love all the comments. Thank you so much. Catherine says, fascinating, the literal. Oh, Catherine, what do you mean by that? Can you expand on that a bit? Pat says, yes, when I am neutral, I know that I am not caught in drama and more peaceful. Amen. Right, Pat? It's the truth. It's just the truth. Hi, Sherry. Welcome. Are you still in Germany, Sherry? That's, I love that you can join us. Completely resonate, Sammy says, I prayed for peace a few months ago as well, in all aspects, especially within my body and mind. Also, I've been exploring the hero and villain duality concept as well. Oh my gosh, I love this, Sammy. Isn't it so interesting? It's like mind blowing when you really start to look at it on a deep level, just how entrenched we are in this hero and villain. And we see it everywhere. It's in the movies, it's in the books we read, it's in, you know what I mean? It's everywhere. And I get it. I get it. It makes for good reading, it makes for good watching. We love to cheer on the underdog or the hero, but for our sense of personal peace, not so good. Sherry says, I couldn't agree more. I have no idea, but thank you, Sherry. Sammy says, I've been finding that quieting my mind and asking God for a new perspective when I'm on the black and white rat wheel. I've laughed a few times at how quickly I'm given a perspective shift and how peaceful and freeing the shift feels. Oh my gosh. Yes, Sammy. Yes, I love this. I love this. Claire says, I miss that in our world. Claire, I assume, hi, Claire, by the way, welcome. I assume that you're talking about that kindness where we can be on separate sides and still live peacefully and respectfully together, right? I miss that too. I miss it a lot. And I just realized, sorry, a little emotional, talking about my mom and dad a lot today. I hadn't planned that. Today is the 14th anniversary of my dad's passing. So I really feel like he is blessing this today and blessing this conversation. But there's because I lived that my whole life, I know it's possible. I know it's possible and it's probable and we can do it if we want. Okay. So so funny, as I just posted something similar early today. Oh, I love that. We have so many synchronicities, guys. I love that. We're all connected. We all are. And I'm here to give that voice. Sherry says, yep, still in Germany. Tammy says, he-man who blames others has a long way in his journey to go. Oh, the man who blames others has a long way in his journey to go. The man who blames himself is halfway there. The man who blames no one has already arrived. Sammy, oh my gosh, that is absolutely incredible. Thank you for sharing that, because that is the truth. That is my truth anyway, of how I got to peace and how I'm getting back to peace, right? Because I forgot for a minute. My human took control and I forgot. And I'm like, Ooh, no good, no good, no good, bad, bad, good, 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 good. No, 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 no. And guess what? The whole time I was doing that, pointing fingers and saying good, bad, awful, horrible, judgy, judgy, my inside was going, getting all twisted up even more and more. Not what we want, guys. It's not how we want to live. And if we truly believe that we are here to like raise the vibration of the world, raise the vibration of the earth, impact the frequency, be a light, whatever verbiage you want to put on it. If we truly believe that, it has to start within. So, what kind of a light am I letting out when I'm all like, yeah? There is no light, right? I'm adding to the garbage. I don't want to be in that garbage. I do not want to be there. So Claire says, exactly. Thank you, Claire, for validating that. The political analogy, the same internal struggles and same path to peace. Amen. Catherine likes that a lot. The quote for the day, amen. That is the quote for the day. And Sammy, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so guys, here are cards. Okay, so I've got 2 cards for the collective. These are for all of us on here. These are for everybody watching the replay, and really they're for anybody. They're for all of us. So if you want to share this, this applies later. This applies to everybody. So the first card is Passion Flower, number 31. And look at what a pretty little card that is. Ooh, I love that. So let's see what Passion Flower says. Oh, I opened the book right to it. First time I've used the book, I opened right to it. Is that not crazy? Can't make this shit up, you guys. Okay. Passion Flower invites you to acknowledge what is new and unknown within you, gently unfurling to climb and wind its way to new heights. In the world of herbalism, Passion Flower is an ally for some soothing the nerves and helps to unwind the fixated mind. Oh my God. Sorry. I just have to laugh for a minute because you just can't make this stuff up. Witness your inner dialogue and assess whether certain repeating thoughts and patterns truly serve you. Well, I think we know what the answer to that is, right? What a card. What a card. Okay. And then the companion card from the Ethereal Visions deck is 8 of Swords. Ooh, that's a pretty one too. I really like that. 8 of Swords. Let's see what 8 of Swords has to say. Isolation, imprisonment, disappointment, and feeling trapped. Right? How all of this garbage makes us feel more isolated. All of this stuff makes us, it makes us feel imprisoned and disappointed, right? So, where can we find that neutrality? So, guys, these are for everyone. Our cards for surrendering to the moon, right? And if you wanted, just a suggestion with this moon, Claire's our resident moon expert. So, Claire, you might have something to add to this. If you do, I would love it. But, it might be a great idea for us to write a little bit about that belief, that pattern of holding so tightly to the idea of a hero and a villain, and like what our life might look like if we let that go. Like, and what about letting it go scares us, right? Because there is a reason we are tightly entrenched to it. And believe me, I don't want to make it sound like it was easy. 4 years ago, when the thought came to me, the first thing when the thought came to me, I remember I was sitting there, I saw the vision, and I literally opened my eyes and I'm like, hell no. Because that was a foundational belief for me, right? Where I was, the side that I was on was foundational for me. And it was a source of security. And it was also like, I know what the world is. And when we realize that maybe we don't know what the world actually is, and it isn't what we think or perceive, it's scary AF, right? It is scary. And so it was hard. It was hard. And letting these things go is not easy, but it is rewarding. You will find peace like you've never had. I got to put that quote up again. The man who blames others has a long way in his journey to go. The man who blames himself is halfway there. The man who blames no one has already arrived. Wow. Brilliance. Wisdom. Amazing. Thank you again, Sammy. Um, yes, can't make this up. What a magical morning is right. Okay, so who wants a card? Okay, guys, who wants a card? Who wants a card? Who wants a card? While you guys are telling me, I'm going to let you in on a few things that I want to share. So if you are not on my email list, I highly encourage you to get on over there and get to it. I will put the link right here. Sorry. Oops. I can't type today. Now, I know that this is only going to show up, I think it might show up on both. If you guys are actually on, will you guys tell me where you see this, if you see this link and where you are? So if you have not gotten on my email list, you want to, because I do a lot of things on there. I offer a lot of free stuff. Like this week, we've been doing one-on-one sessions and they have been incredible. I am always amazed. Little mini 10-minute one-on-one sessions. I am always flabbergasted by what we can do in 10 minutes, the insights, the guidance, all of it. It is so profound and so amazing. And so you want to be on my email list so you have access to all of that. Okay. Oh, I think it posted on both. Woohoo! Okay, yay. And then the second one is we have I'm having a grief circle starting on Monday, the 22nd, this coming Monday. And this is it's really special. It's not at all what I thought it was going to be. I had it all planned and it was completely different. Oh, before I say that, let me go back to one thing. With that, getting on the email list on the michellesnelling.com, once you get on the email list, you get a free gift. And it's a beautiful meditation that actually helps with your first energy center and your earth, and you're feeling grounded. So perfect for today and our conversation. But I digress. So the grief circle starts on Monday. It's for anybody who has experienced any kind of grief, loss of a loved one, loss of a pet, loss of a friendship or a relationship, any change really in life, even if you feel like it's for your highest good, comes with a certain amount of grief, because that's just the human condition and it's about change. So this is for anybody who's experienced grief. If you're actively grieving, if it's been a while, wherever you're at in it, it's perfect. It's $33 and I'm doing it very differently. My initial thing was, it's going to be 3 days within a week, in and out, we're done, whatever. And then it's like, no, that is not the way that we want to do it. We need to take our time with this. So we open our grief circle on Monday at 5:30 p.m. Mountain. That's 4:30 Pacific, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. It'll last about an hour. I'm thinking the grief circle the opening will be about 45 to 60 minutes. And then after that, and it'll be recorded. So if you miss that, no worries. If you can't join live, you'll have the recording forever for you. And you'll want it because there's going to be a lot of really important tools. You guys know me. You know that I share like everything that I possibly can. Everything that I know that works, I share. So, right? And by the way, we're all in grief. Like there is grief, even if it's simmering at the surface, even if we misdefine it as something else, we can misdefine it as depression or anxiety or different things like that, but it's really grief. And it's kind of across the board because of everything that we've been through in the last 4 years. How can we not have grief over everything that happened in 2020 and beyond, right? Just hearing the massive death toll on a daily basis was enough to make you be in grief for years, right? And then our lives change so dramatically in some ways, for some more dramatically than others, but still our lives changed. And also, you know what, guys, we're never going to be the same, which we change all the time, but we kind of have who we were pre 2020, March of 2020, and post March of 2020. And so we can grieve that person too. So I want to make sure that you know that this grief circle is for everyone there. There's not like a right grief and a wrong grief. There's just grief, and all of it deserves to be honored and processed together, right? And that's what this is, a circle of being together and processing together. And oh my goodness, I just got hot. So um it's only $33, which I think is, oh, Catherine, do you see the link right up? Catherine says, where and how do we join? Do you see the link right above the PayPal link? That is the link. It's $33. And what I love about this is we're starting on 22nd. Totally, like, I did not plan that. I just was like, oh, this Monday works. And so I did it. And it's the 22nd, which is my favorite number. And then we're going to go for 22 days. So during this 22 days, we're going to explore grief in real life. So my circle is called Good Grief, a circle of grieving IRL. So a circle of grieving in real life. And so we're going to look at grief in our everyday and in our real life, and how do we handle it? What do we do with it? All of those things. Sorry guys, I got to move this just a bit. Okay. And so it's going to be fun. It's the first one I've ever done like this, and I can't wait to experience this with you. So if you guys have questions, then let me know. Can't wait to see you all. Okay, so let's see who wants a card. Sammy, Catherine, Claire, Pat. I love that. Sherry says, silly question, LOL. I would love a card, please. Of course. All right, Sherry. Okay, guys, I'm showing more people on here than that. Is somebody here that wants a card that hasn't told me? Okay, so Sammy, we're going to use the sacred cycles today. Sammy, I'm feeling like, has there been a dream or something? Like, did you dream or have a dream about somebody who's passed? Feels more like a visit. I don't know, but it feels like there's something unsettling. Like, I'm not sure if it was just a dream you had, or if there's somebody in the spiritual realm that wants to help you with it. I'm not positive. But so this card is going to be your own personal card about surrendering, and really this is like solar plexus for you, like really deepening into your solar plexus and your sense of personal power. Oh, what does Sammy say? I think I hit on something. Oh, Sammy, I love that. Pepper visited you. Oh, gosh. I don't know about you guys, but pets that we lose, they just, like, I would never say, like, their loss is more impactful than a human's loss, because no way. But it's such a special type of loss because of the unconditional love that they give us. There's none of that complicated stuff with a pet, right? It's just pure love. And so I love that. Oh, your grandmother also visited you recently. Wow, Sammy, I love that. Okay, so was there something unsettling about it, or I don't know, but all right. So, ooh, I love this. We got clitoris for you. Look at that beautiful thing. This book I'm reading right now, they just it's funny. Like this morning I was reading it, and it said that there are like 8,000 nerve endings in the clitoris or something like that. I'm probably lowballing it, but lowballing it. But anyway, such a profoundly sensitive area, right? And very, very connected. So before I look at what it's talking about, that's what I have to say about that. So I think this is also validation of how connected you are, that that your people are feeling comfortable to come to you, right? Wrong book. Okay. And guys, I opened right to the page again. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Dad. Guys, I have to share with you. Can I just share? I'm going to read Sammy's card, then I'm going to share it. Pleasure in my birthright. As an intricate web of nerves networking well beyond what many believe it to be, the clitoris expands throughout the vulvar area surrounding the vaginal opening and is filled with around 8,000 nerve endings. I got it right. Wow. Okay. Designed purely for the purpose of pleasure and derived from the Greek word for key, the clitoris holds one potential source of the felt experience of bliss within the sacred body. It is time to claim pleasure fully. You can start by looking for simple ways to cultivate more joy each day. As you seek out what fills your mind, body, and soul with sensations of delight, witness the signs and synchronicities that show up to support you along the path. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. So let me see what Sammy said. The grandmother's dream. She was in an airplane circling me. Her face was still but clearly trying to get my attention. In the dream, I was having a baby, but it was via surrogacy. Wow. I love that. So if this was my dream, may I give you some insight into that, Sammy? Is that okay? And if not, I completely understand privacy and it's none of my business. Um, but I would love to give some insight into that. Okay, guys, so let me tell you. Okay, Sammy says, of course, thank you. So that was my dream. I would look at what I am trying to birth, but where I'm giving my power away. Okay, so you know how I said it was about your solar plexus and your personal power? So what are you trying to birth? And this feels creative. So what are you trying to birth creatively? But you're giving your power away with it. Maybe you're not owning your expertise or your genius or your creative genius in the area. Anyway, grasp onto it. So I have to share, and I think this might be why my dad is here today. And so when my dad was home on hospice, um, we were all there with him. My whole family was basically there, most of us, and he was in really good spirits. It was like he kind of, I don't know if he didn't know what was going on or if he just chose not to. No, I don't know, but whatever the case, he was very in high spirits, and it was a Friday, and I had asked the hospice nurse who was there. I said, because I had heard that when you have someone on hospice, that hospice brings you like a pack of things that you need to help with the care of your person that's on hospice. So like things to help with pain and anxiety and all those things that can happen. And so I asked her about it, and she said, "Oh, Michelle, you're weeks from needing anything like that. Don't worry about it." And I go, "Really?" She's like, "Oh yeah, weeks." And I said, "Okay, great." So the next day, the people who had purchased a home that we were selling, Jeff became friends with them, of course. And then, we ended up kind of being friends with them. And she would see animals. Like she messaged me one day and she's like, "Did you have two dogs that were black and white? They look kind of like, one looks like a lab and one looks kind of like a Springer Spaniel." Well, those were the first pups that Jeff and I ever had, and they both passed when we lived in that house. She saw them running around our yard. And so she kind of had the same type of a thing. So we bonded with that. So they bought me a ticket to go see Lisa Williams. And I love Lisa Williams. If you guys don't know her, she's a psychic medium. She used to have a TV show. She's brilliant. She's from England, and she's very down to earth. She's very grounded. I love her. Anyway, they bought me a ticket to go see her. So I was so excited. So that afternoon, I'm with my dad. Like I need to leave about 7 to go to the event downtown. And it's like 4:30. And I just kept feeling all day like, I don't want to go to Lisa Williams. And I'm like, what? Why would you not want to go to Lisa Williams? And it's a free ticket. Like, duh. But I just kept feeling like I didn't want to go. And so my family was downstairs eating, and my sister had made some pizza, and my mom had made spaghetti. So my dad wanted my sister's pizza, and everybody else was downstairs eating my mom's spaghetti. And I'm feeding my dad, and he's like, "Don't tell your mom, really love this pizza. Like, I know I should be wanting your spaghetti, but I'm so happy to be having this pizza. Homemade pizza, which is delicious, which of course my mom knows now, right? But it was funny. We had a little laugh. And I'm feeding him, and it took him a while to eat. And so I'm just sitting there thinking, and I'm thinking there was some stuff going on with Jeff with the job he was at the time. And it was just kind of weird and wonky, and it wasn't great, and we were wondering what to do, and money was involved, and but I'm thinking all this in my head. It's completely silent in the room, and all of a sudden my dad opens his eyes and he goes, "Speaking of finances," and he starts telling me, and I'm like, what the, you know my jaw, because I'm like, I know I didn't say any of that out loud. Like, I was having that conversation in my head. And so then I fed him. He's chewing. We're quiet. I'm just like sitting there again, and I'm thinking about my daughter and my son and school, because we were in this phase of, we were homeschooling, but I was getting a lot of pressure that it wasn't right, and so I was sitting there, and my dad again, and I'm thinking all this in my brain, and my dad goes, "It's emotional. Sorry, guys." He says, "No one knows what to do for your children better than you, so don't listen to any of it." And I was just dumbfounded that we had that connection, that telepathic connection that I'd never had with anybody like that before, and that I had it with my dad, and it was so special. And I knew also, like, I'm not going to Lisa Williams. I need to stay with my dad tonight. So I stayed with him. We all gathered in the bedroom where he was in his bed. We watched Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, which were my dad's favorite shows. We had a great time. And my dad went to sleep that night, and he didn't gain regain consciousness really. And so I spent those last hours alone with my dad in such a beautiful way, and then with the family that I'm so grateful for. And by the way, I knew, right? I asked the nurse on Friday, "Do we need to have that kit?" "Oh, no, you have weeks." Well, we didn't. And on Sunday morning, I was calling the hospice going, "I think we need the kit today." Anyway, so a beautiful thing. And thank you, Dad, for being here. So I'm sorry, guys, that took a lot longer than I thought. Catherine, Claire, Pat, and Sherry, are you still here? You are so welcome, Sammy. And thank you for allowing me to read for you. Okay, so Catherine, you still here? Oh, thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it. Our parents are flawed, right? They're human just like us. And I think it's important to remember that. There's a lot of judgment about my dad. And I know he was not an easy person, but neither was my mom, right? Because they're human. I'm not an easy person. I'm human, right? And anyway, so again, that space of neutrality where we're not defining everything as good or bad. It just is. They did their best. We're doing our best. And I'm grateful for my dad today and that connection that we had in remembering that. Okay, Catherine, let me clear. I need a little bit of spray. Thank God for these. Oof. On my feet. Oh, I don't know if any of you guys that have my sprays use them on your feet, but it is such a powerful way to use these sprays and to really get the benefit of the salt and everything. Okay, Catherine, I'm clean and ready. All right, so oh, Catherine, my chest is just full of guilt and like regret guilt and regret. So I don't know what is going on there. Ooh, but a card just jumped out. We're going to use that one. And I'm also going to pull another one for you. So guilt and regret is what I'm feeling. And my heart center just feels so tremendously heavy. It's just, wow, like heavy. Okay, so the first card that I pulled is Mother. Okay, so this could possibly be guilt that you have as a mother or that you have with your mother, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. And then this one is full moon. Oh my gosh, guys, I love that. These cards are so pretty. Do you guys think these cards are pretty or is it just me? I just think they're so interesting. They look kind of primitive, but the colors are so soothing to me, and I don't know, I'm just really enjoying them. Okay, so full moon. I didn't open to the exact page this time, but that's okay. That is okay. The brilliance. Oh, wait, no, we want to read Mother first. We want to read Mother first because that is what I pulled. Okay, so this is in there. This is broken up into like categories. And this one is in the category called Cycle of Life. Okay. And it is Mother. I love myself unconditionally. The archetype of profound nurturing and service, the mother, ensures that a loving embrace caresses all those who are in need of a tender touch. Boundless compassion shines down upon you through the guidance of the Divine Mother, and fertile abundance in all its forms awaits you with a reminder that you are so deeply cared for. All parts of you are welcome and celebrated here. You are being encouraged to open up to connecting with patient role models who may share their wisdom and guide you along your journey. You will discover profound blessings through acts of service and seeking ways to care for others. This becomes a growing cycle of nourishment and fertility for you and those you reach with your gifts. Okay, Catherine, I'm going to just tweak that a little bit because this part of you taking service and seeking ways to care for others, seeking ways to take care of you. That's what this is all about. You are looking for ways to take care of you, okay? And to be more unconditionally loving and kind to you, okay? So, not that you can't serve people and do for others, but not before you've taken care of you. Fill that cup first, honey, and then go from there, okay? And then the full moon. This is in the section of the celestial cycles. Okay, the full moon. My dreams are coming true. The brilliance of the full moon speaks to the fullness of your life. There is so much wonder gracing your experience right now, just waiting for you to shine a light upon it. The full moon represents a peak point, a culmination of effort and energy, and it is a great time to stop and take notice of what has recently manifested. This is a moment to relax into the expansiveness of what already is. You likely have heard the adage, where thoughts go, energy flows. So focus on the abundance in your life in all its shapes and sizes. Okay? There has been no outpouring of doing lately. And now you can feel the magnetism that radiates around you, reflecting all that you have called in and cultivated. Oh, so beautiful. Okay, so Catherine, what I'm going to say about that, something that came in, again, these gorgeous cards, the mother and the full moon. Okay, I keep feeling like it's time for you to take a break. So is a sabbatical possible, or even just like some, I don't know what you'd call it, like family leave or something like that, where you could take an extended break of just being with you? That feels very needed. Okay. Um, Makes total sense. How lucky this morning. Oh, yes. And lucky for me that you were here. Thank you so much, Catherine. Let's see. Amen, sister. Yeah, amen. Hi, Rose. How are you? I'm so happy to see you. What a blessing to have you here. Let me know if you'd like a card. Okay, Claire. Claire, I'm gonna pull a card for everybody from these sacred cycles. And then we're gonna also I'm gonna pull one from the ethereal visions for you too, Claire. I hope that's okay. Okay, so Claire. I'm feeling some congestion in the first and the second energy center. And this is kind of new. It feels like, and this might be connected to that message of surrendering. It just feels like a real tightness and like a ball of, oof, just heavy, heavy, and it like keeps expanding. And so, surrender, 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 Claire, as much as you can, and neutrality is the message for you, especially today. Okay. So I've got the Sacred Cycles one. Let me get this one. You know, guys, I always have to clean and bless in between. Okay, Rose, I've got you down. Thank you. So, guys, has anybody that's on here today had an experience like I shared with my dad? And if not, no, like it's okay. It's not a, it's not a competition, or there's no comparison. But it was so unbelievable and surprising to me. Literally, like I had never experienced anything like that before. Um, and it's crazy. Awesome. Okay, let's see. All right, Claire. So your first card is uterus. Well, that goes right along with where I was feeling the stuckness. Okay. I'm sure that this is going to be in the life cycle as well. Oh, I love that chalice with everything coming from that chalice, right? Because that's like what that area, the womb area in our pelvis is like a bowl, right? So I love that chalice. And then 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so for the cycles one, for the uterus, I am a powerful source of creation. The chalice of the generative space, the uterus, ebbs and flows with the monthly hormonal cycle and holds the potential to cultivate life. It is an incubating container for new creations and is part of the sacred body's center for cleansing and releasing. The uterus is part of everyone's origin story. It is the vessel through which we all arrive in this physical realm. Contemplating this dynamic part of the anatomy is an invitation to explore the role of nurturing in your recent experience. Pay particular attention to the tender parts of yourself that may be newly sprouting. So that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like there was a bunch of new growth coming, and then whatever this ball of heaviness is, because it I don't really feel like I can name it because there's so much in it. It's like just this ball of heaviness that has kind of like pushed everything, all those little baby sprouts that were starting to grow, it's covered them all and pushed them down. So we want to bring those back through nurturing and love and kindness and everything that you can, right? Neutrality, surrendering, neutrality. 6 of Pentacles, generosity, charity, empathy, and kindness. Okay. And so does that make sense, Claire? I hope that helps. And again, that is so good. That generosity, charity, empathy, and kindness, all for you, right? All for you. So, guys, these messages so far have been all about doing this kindness and generosity and unconditional love for ourselves, right? Pour it into yourself, and then you have more to give, right? It's beautiful how that works. And just as an aside, like I had a hysterectomy in probably 2005, 2006, maybe. I don't know when it was. And um, I felt good about it. Like I was ready. I knew I wasn't going to have more kids. I was okay with that. I was perfectly happy with my boy and girl, my healthy boy and girl. And, I was good. Even if I would have had two boys or two girls, I just felt complete with two. It was more than enough for me to handle. And then a couple years ago, I was doing a meditation and I came up with the most immense amount of grief. The meditation was going into that pelvic center where the uterus lives. And um, I came up to so much grief. And it really didn't have anything to do with me as like wanting more kids. It was more about me as a mother and not doing like my job as a woman, right? So that was something very black and white that I had the opportunity to sit with and to soften and to get to the neutral space of, does me not having a uterus really define me as less of a woman? You know, what does it mean anyway? It's interesting. So just speaking about grief and how it can come in so many different forms and at times when we don't expect it. So get yourself to the grief circle. We're gonna tap into all of it, and for 22 days we're gonna just have a beautiful support place to work through it all and to process. And oh, thank you, Rose. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it is beautiful because it's not only like, you know letting my uterus define me as a woman, but it's anything that we really connect into as defining us as a human, a woman, a mother, a daughter, a friend, whatever it is, right? Those things kind of keep us stuck and they keep us imprisoned, right? They keep us imprisoned. Okay, Pat. Hello, it's your turn finally. It's taken me a while, but here I am. Okay, so Pat, let me see what this feels like. Ooh, something with it feels like something with an older male energy. Like there's got to be something, not got to be. There is something that is up for you, and you may not realize that this is what it is, but it is connected with this older male. So this could be father, grandfather, uncle, something like that, even just a family friend, or something. Someone like that. And I keep seeing a J, initial J like January, and also a three. So that would be like March or the third of a month. So do you know who that person is? Let me say this before I'm gonna say this before I get your answer. What they're encouraging is like a letter of release about these all of these feelings, because I feel like there are so many feelings in regards to this person or this situation, and it's time for you to go deeper. You've already done a lot, but this is a really, you're ready to go deeper and to remove even more, to release even more. And this full moon is a perfect time. So write a letter, write a note, something, and then like do something with it. It can either be shredding it or burning it or something, and then bringing it into turning it into something that's life giving. So maybe it's, putting the paper with wetting the paper and putting it in the a house plant, in the dirt of a house plant, or it's burning it and putting the ashes outside. Something, I don't know. Okay, menopause. Oh, I love this. This is so beautiful. Look at that gorgeous dark night sky. Absolutely love that. Okay. So let's see what menopause has to say. This I believe is again in the wrong book. Whew. I believe that this one is in that life cycles. Oh no, this one is in it's called ritual. Okay. And Sammy, if you're still here, the card I pulled for you, the clitoris, that's in ritual as well. Okay. So menopause. I am rediscovering myself. Just as your entrance into the bleeding years is a profound and sacred time, so is a transition out of your menstrual era. The experience of perimenopause and menopause presents an opportunity to rediscover yourself and your place within the universe. You are at a milestone, a fork in the road, a doorway to infinite potential. Luckily, you are prepared for this. Of course you are, Pat. You have amassed so much wisdom, and your heart knows exactly what to do next. Follow your desires. Now is a perfect time to integrate the lessons you've learned and set course for the next magnificent adventure. Okay, so how this coincides with what I said, I believe, and only Pat can validate this. If this is right for you, Pat, I hope it is. But that the time when you started your menstrual cycle, one of the situations that I'm feeling is really involved in what's up right now with that older female, or the older male, and the J and the 3. It happened around that time. So really, really allow yourself to connect with that Pat of that age, and allow that Pat to speak to you and let you know what she wants to tell you and what wisdom she wants to impart with you. Okay? Does that make sense, Pat? Thank you. Thank you. Claire says, thank you so much. I just now realized why I was drawn to joining the grief circle, and your description of sprouts growing and then being covered resonates so deeply. I'm in tears. And it took me a moment to get it. Oh, thank you, Claire. Thank you. I love you too. And you know what, guys? I love this. Oh, I wanted to leave that up because we don't always get it immediately, right? And we're not always meant to get it immediately. Sometimes it takes a few moments or a few hours or a few days or a few weeks or even months sometimes. Our process is ours, and it's not for us to rush through or to dictate the how, the when, the where, all of it, right? But thank you, Claire. I so appreciate it. Okay. Pat. We did Pat. Sherry. Are you ready, Sherry? I'm excited. Sherry, this feels like we need to talk today, or we need to acknowledge and address some things that are coming up for you that are um, ways that you define yourself as a daughter, as a mother, as a sister. Okay, so it's like how you see yourself and how you define yourself within the family realm. And it's time to kind of soften those definitions and rework them and allow them to come to you. Um, mm, I think that's what I'm thinking, Sherry. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it feels like this is about your definitions of you as a daughter, as a sister, as a mother. Okay. So what are those, where do those, this is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'm feeling. Where does how you define yourself feel expansive, and where does it feel constricted? That's what we want to work with right now, and that's what we want to work on. So where you feel expansive, let's bring more of that in, right? It's kind of like weeds in a garden. If you don't want to have a lot of weeds in a garden, you want to plant plants that are going to expand so that there's not a lot of room for weeds, right? That's how you do it the best way. It's not necessarily to kill the weeds or to use like weed killer. It's plant plants that are going to grow so big so that there's no room for weeds. We want that in our internal garden as well, in our emotional, mental garden. So, where can you expand on those areas that feel expansive even more? And where can you let go of the ones that feel constrictive? Okay. Yes, feeling like the black sheep, of course. But there's also ways I know that you would feel um, that you feel expansive in that realm, like situations with your dad, even situations with your mom, if you can really allow yourself to be neutral. Okay. We can find the love in a lot of situations if we allow ourselves. Okay. So, Sherry, spring. Ooh, I love this. New life, new beginning, right? Gardens, just what we were talking about. And look how gorgeous that is. That soft pink flower. Oh, and this up here with the doves and the sun. I don't know what that is, but it's gorgeous, right? You could kind of think it's anything, whatever you want. So spring. So these are in the seasons. Number 14. I am ready to grow. Springtime, when the earth begins a deep inhale, reawakening the signs of life and vibrancy. After a time of dormancy, there is an urgency and excitement to get on with the growing already. The spring season beckons you with the hope of all that is ready to be nurtured. You may have spent some time recently turned inward, allowing for rest and visioning. Now the energy has had a chance to replenish and build its supplies. You are ready to stoke the flames and begin once again. Oh, I love that. What a gorgeous, I love that. Like it's time. It's time. And one thing I'm going to say, Sherry, just my opinion, okay? But I've always felt like the black sheep of the family. What if you softened your belief about that? What if you softened your connection and your ownership of that story and came to a neutral place where you just were a member of the family? How might that change? Wow, that's powerful. And I'm saying that's powerful because I'm getting that message for myself. Like, what if I softened all these stories that I tell myself about my place in the family and being the black sheep and not fitting in and kind of being the black sheep everywhere I go, right? I was the black sheep when I was in school. When I moved when I was 7, I was the black sheep in school. I was in this huge elementary school and I was the only non-Mormon student in the school. Talk about trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It just did not work at all. But, I've perpetuated those stories my whole life from them, right? So, what if I softened? What if I surrender to be neutral about those stories? First of all, I wouldn't give them power. Second of all, they wouldn't have power over me. Third of all, oh my God, who could I become? Like mind blowing. And believe me, I've been doing this work on these stories for years, but really surrendering and becoming neutral, because most of the time when I've worked on the stories, I've rewritten the stories. But what if I didn't even rewrite it? What if I didn't have to rewrite the story and I could just be in a space of neutrality with it, where it isn't this or that? It just is. And I'm not giving any power. Wow, guys, sorry. I have to just take a moment. That's powerful. And I think that's also a message for all of us, right? Where are the stories that we could just loosen and surrender to? Powerful moon, guys. This moon is so freaking powerful. Okay, your second card from the Ethereal Visions is the Ace of Cups in reverse. And I love all that gold. And look at how those are wings. Oh, they're beautiful, right? And those flowers also. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups reversed. Repressed emotions and endings. Vulnerability. Wow. You can't make this stuff up. Endings. What if you and I were able to put to bed those stories, Sherry? Like, what if we were able to not work to change them or to create them in a different way, but what if we were able to just surrender to them, surrender to the neutrality of them, and let them just be, not have any like emotional charge to them, right? Wow, talk about power. So I want to show you those again because they are gorgeous. My mind is blown. All right, Rose, 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 Rose. Okay, um, let's see. Ooh, I love that. I replaced the black sheep with unique sheep. I love that, Rose. And I'm going to say, Sherry, Rose, all of us who have these stories, what if we didn't have to replace it with anything? What if we could simply look at feeling like the black sheep as just a thing we were feeling, not as something that made us feel left out or separate or different or excluded or isolated? What if it was just an experience we had in our childhood that allowed us to become these beautiful people we are today, right? Or it was just something that we felt. We don't have to describe it was good or bad. It's just something, right? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Rose, I know you've joined us later. So, I've got a new deck. It's called Sacred Cycles. and I've been wanting to play with it. And I thought this was a perfect time to play with this deck on the eve of the full moon tomorrow. So, um, Sherry says, beautiful card. Yes, I'm so ready for that. Definition can work on softening that. Yes, definitely. I love that. And I really love that surrendering to the neutrality, right? That's the name of the game today, guys. Surrender to that space of neutrality. That's where our peace is. And even I'm going to say this, Rose, and this is not like a for you per se, it's for me because this is what I've done for so many years. So when I'm like saying I'm not the black sheep, I'm included, or I'm a part of things, or I'm the unicorn sheep, or whatever it is, that is still me trying to rail against this definition of black sheep, right? Saying this one is bad and this new one I've made is good, and trying to prove why this wasn't good, or why this is bad, or why it wasn't good. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to defend myself against anything anymore. I'm kind of done with that in my life. I want to just be and let my words and my actions stand on their own. And if someone gets it, great. And if someone doesn't, it's okay. Right? It just me being me. So the freedom of not having to redefine or rail against this story feels huge and expansive. Huge and fucking expansive. Sorry, the sailor in me comes out from time to time. Whoops. Okay, Rose. So let's see what we have to say for Rose. I need a little bit of spray in between that because that was a lot. Sherry, thank you. And thank you all so much for being here because I have gotten something for myself from all of you today. And I'm sure I'll get something from what we're going to read for Rose. And Sherry, thank you for being here because this is huge today. Huge. Okay, Rose. So what I'm feeling is there's like how I was feeling that ball of heaviness in Claire between the second and first energy center. I'm feeling it between the second and the third for you. And it feels connected to like there's a male, and I'm not sure if this is at work or if this is in your personal life. It can be a combination of both. But it feels like there is something that has taken your spark of fire, your spark of you knowing you. And it's created some sadness and a space of emptiness. So we want to really go to that space and sit with that. And it feels, I don't know what happened when you were 12 or 13, but it feels like it's something with that. Okay. And this is dark moon. Ooh, I love that. Look at that moon. And look at how relaxed and quiet and beautifully, just reclined she is. Oh, I love that. Okay. So, dark moon number 8. So, this is in the celestial cycles. And it says, I am a creator being. The dark moon opens up the opportunity to explore a blank slate somewhere in your life. Within the darkness of the void, there is fertile ground for a seed to be planted. So, what seed do you hope to plant right now? Before the moon can begin to grow anew, before an oak can sprout from an acorn, you must call forward the vision of each of those in their fullest expression. Now is a time for dreaming, a time to tap into your highest potential. Okay, so whether this is through your favorite divination practice, journaling, making a vision board, or meditating, your channel is open to receive the insights that will inspire this next phase of your growth. So now is the time. So what I'm going to say, it's time for rest and for going within really deeply and getting quiet and really, really hearing. Again, the 12 and 13 keep coming up. So was there something that happened? And this could be twofold. It can be when you were 12 or 13, between those ages, or it could be like 12 or 13 weeks ago, 12 or 13 days ago. But there is something going on with a male that is trying to take your power, and he has dimmed your light a bit, but we're not going to let him dim it anymore. Okay? You got this, Rose. I hope that helps. So, Patricia, I want to see this. I think it was an uncle who was an alcoholic, John. Okay, Patricia. Pat. Sorry, not Patricia, Pat. I always do that because I'm just reading the name. Pat. Do you know what the 3 is? Because that's still coming through. And I feel like there's just some beautiful, beautiful like forgiveness and compassion that's to be found in this work. So I don't know if you know what the 3 is, but I would really love to know. Sammy says, thank you, Michelle, and everyone. Need to jump off, switch back to work mode. Hope you have a beautiful day and weekend too, Sammy. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for that incredible quote. I love that. And I really, really appreciate it. Um, okay. Rose says, my landlord has given me notice to move out. At 12, my mom left my dad in the middle of the night and I didn't see him for 5 years. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that would just signify that that is really tuning into that space of feeling unprotected, unsafe, like you have no control, right? That's what our personal power is all about, us feeling in control of our lives. Um, so I hope that helps, Rose. Thank you for sharing that. Manifesting a new home. My birthday is the 12th of August, going on retreat. So the 12th there as well. I love that validation. So let me see if I can get a sense of who this is that's bringing this. Is there an S, an initial S somewhere? S like Susan or Sarah? I'm not sure. I don't think those are the names, but an S is what I'm feeling. So is that connected in any way to this situation? And Rose says, thank you. Great cards. They are. They are so beautiful. They're my new favorite deck. I love them. Pat says, I'm not sure in the 3. I need to research some. So, Pat, it doesn't necessarily just need to be connected to him. It could be March is significant in some way or the 3rd of a month. So, it could be something with you or your family. It's just validation that this is coming in for you. So, like a birthday, an anniversary of a wedding, anniversary of a passing, or something significant happening, something significant has happened in March or a March, right? So, okay, guys. Anything with that, Rose? With the S? Let's see if we can fit that where it goes. Needing a little bit of water today. Ooh, that feels good. Thank you again, guys, so much for being here. If you want some information about the grief circle, let me know. I'd be happy to share it with you if you know you want in. Again, here is the link. I will share it again right here. Oops, why did that do that so many times? I'm not sure. I apologize for that. Okay. Rose, my younger brother is Steven. Can't find him, been looking for 15 years. Okay, so I think this is just validation. Are your mom and dad here? Are they still in your life? I mean, are they still in the physical realm or have they passed? Okay, parents' anniversary and 3 sibling birthdays, large family. Okay, perfect. So this is just validation. Rose, it was one of your parents that were bringing through this information. So that would signify to me that you might want to look at maybe working on some forgiveness and some stuff with them as well. That's a lot. I know. But do it as you feel led to. There's no perfect time, and just allow yourself to be led. Surrender to it, right? Our word of the day, our word for the moon, surrender. And Rose says both parents are dead. Okay, Rose, I feel like this is your mom coming through. Um, yeah, I'm not getting any more. I apologize about that. But guys, if you want a session, if anybody wants let me put this here. If you're wanting a session so that we can dive deeper and delve into what is going on, or what these messages are, who they're from, you just want more, This is the link to get those, and I would love to do a longer reading for you. So maybe pull some cards, but get the messages that we need. So thank you guys so much. I love you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time, and I'm honored that you allow me to read for you, as always. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful Friday and a gorgeous full moon.